Hello, everybody. Welcome back to episode one. I don't know. I feel like I should know these things. Episode 117-ish of the Spiritual Sisters podcast, somewhere around there, give or take. We'll know these things one day. Welcome.
Hello. Super excited for today's episode. We have a special guest with us today, Laura, a field guide. And it's super exciting to have you here, Laura, because for our audience, our listeners, we're covering a topic we have yet to cover on the show, which I'm like, wow, it took almost 117-ish episodes to get here.
It's kind of crazy, right?
Yeah. And it's like one of the main topics, like kind of in this space that's very much like introduction for how people get into this work.
I feel like it's the gateway drug.
Kind of like marijuana, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, hi, Laura. Welcome.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me. Really excited to be here.
We're so excited to have you here too. And I feel like we have to get a little bit into, before we ask the questions, maybe share a little bit about how like we came to be connected.
How we came to be connected.
Yeah.
Well, so let me see if I can make this short. So I actually met Nichole through, because I'm a graphic designer by trade. I was working in an agency who was doing self-publishing work, and so I was doing work for them. And Nichole came along. She had a book that she was self-publishing, The Final Swipe, and so got to know her there. And then I kind of followed her over the years. And then, interestingly, she found me on Facebook. I wasn't doing that sort of book design work anymore. And she somehow found me. And then we reconnected. She said, "Hey, I'm doing another book. Can you do the interior design work for it?" And I said, "Sure." And then I had this sort of brainwave. I was like, what if we do a trade? Maybe maybe I'll do the interior of your book and I'll take your course, because I've been following that for quite some time. And so I took Soul Reading Method, and I connected with a mutual friend, Maria, and then I got connected with you guys.
Mm-hmm. So you've known Nikki like way before the rest of us knew Nikki or like heard of her.
Yeah, I think so. I'm trying to remember what year it was. I want to say 2017 or 2018, I think.
Pre-Queen Mother days.
Yeah, she had her dating book there, The Final Swipe. And so, yeah, it was really interesting. I was listening to her podcast for quite some time. I still do. But then I was like, oh, this course sounds really interesting. It was kind of pulling me. And then, I took that, and I'm really glad I did, because I'm starting to kind of segue into Reiki and all of that. But I had already been attuned to Reiki for many years, kind of put it on the back burner a little bit, but it was starting to kind of come back and call me. And so this course just opened me back up again, and connected me with a community of like-minded people. And wasn't expecting that. I was hoping for that, but I thought, well, I felt so strongly that I should give it a go, and take the course. And yeah, here we are. After all, like, that was a couple of years ago now, and here we are.
Mm-hmm. Can I just say, I love that you were like, let's do a trade.
I know, yeah, it's a kind of I don't know, kind of an odd thing to suggest in retrospect, but she just was like, yeah, sure. She was open to it. So, yeah.
So, yeah. Also, hi, Maria.
Yeah.
She's going to die.
She's going to be like, yeah, guys. Yeah.
So, yes. Okay, so we're going to go into a series of questions that I know you're familiar with because you listen to the show as well. And then we're totally just going to get right into the very specific type of Reiki that you do, and we'll just flow from there. But
sure. Okay.
What are your big three in astrology?
I am a Pisces sun, Leo moon, and Aquarius rising.
Happy belated birthday.
I was going to say, you just had a birthday.
I did, yeah, actually 10 days ago.
Oh,
yeah.
Happy birthday.
So thank you so much.
You must be feeling the intensity of all the action in the sky and the Pisces constellation, I'm sure.
Oh God, don't get me started. Yeah, it's been a crazy month. Yeah, I was kind of telling you just before we went on air. It's just like, yeah, if we'd had this conversation a week ago, I probably I don't know, I was not in a good place mentally. There's been a lot of emotional purging and that sort of thing happening for me. It's for the better, but yeah,
Doesn't make it any easier.
doesn't make it any easier. No,
Yeah.
absolutely not.
You're creating the new space or the space for the new to come in. And I think it's really auspicious because today we're actually experiencing a once in a lifetime transit that happens once every 162 years, which is when the sun conjoins Neptune at 29 degrees in the sky. So it's a very auspicious time to be recording this. And
is that why I had a migraine today? Oh God, I like almost had to leave work at like 10 a.m. because I was not feeling good today at all.
Today's not the vibe. Like today, maybe tomorrow, definitely next week. So I'm just like, all right, let's just get through March, guys. So anyways.
Yeah. Well, kudos to all of us for showing up then.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm gonna like switch up the order of the questions, but what are some what's your human design actually? So maybe not switching up the order.
Crap, I never remember what this is off the top of my head. Mm-hmm. I'm so sorry.
You're good.
No, I don't remember.
Oh, we can put it in the show notes.
let's do that. Yeah.
Okay.
It'll probably come back to me at some random point in our conversation. I'll be like, oh yeah, that's what it was.
Oh, I love that. Okay. So what are some of, we like to say podcasts or audiobooks or shows even that you're binging at this point?
Podcasts. You know what? I actually haven't really been listening to podcasts or reading books. I've been on YouTube watching tarot readings. A lot of those. Embarrassingly so. I find readings really interesting. I'm interested in that kind of work myself. And so I have a few that I follow that it's kind of crazy. They're meant to be general readings, but there's a lot that actually does kind of resonate with what I'm going through. And so it just kind of makes me feel like, we're all connected really in some way, shape or form. So
yeah, it's kind of like what's meant to find you well.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. I'm finding a lot of synchronicities, a lot of like random messages in books, things I pick up, things I read, things people tell me. That's happening more and more these days. So that sort of thing is really just, amplifying quite a lot. Yeah.
Okay. So if there was any concert that you could attend for an artist that is living or dead, who would it be and why?
Oh man. A concert. I really love Air. I've actually seen them a couple times live, and I would go see them again. There's something just really, their music is sort of, it's hard to put my finger on why I love it so much. It's so different, and it's got kind of this sort of loungy feel to it, but it kind of puts me in a certain time and place. It was sort of present at different periods of my life. When I first kind of moved to Vancouver and when I first got attuned to Reiki. And so it's followed me along in life. And they actually haven't put out that many albums, but there's something weirdly sort of, I don't know, not otherworldly about it. It's not like that crazy, like psychedelic or anything like that, but it has some sort of connection to something that they're doing there, sort of a layered musical French vibe. I don't know.
Never heard of them.
Neither.
Yeah. They're two French musicians, and they're just kind of doing electronic stuff on stage. But I don't know. They can just kind of command an audience, and they're kind of like a slow burn sort of thing. I think I kind of resonate with that.
Is it HEIR or is it AIR?
AIR.
AIR. Okay, I'm gonna have to go look them up after this.
Air French band. Yeah, I mean, now I hope I'm not like overhyping them or something. You know how you're just kind of like, man, they're just the best, and then people are like, okay. But I've been listening to them since college days, so I think there's some nostalgia there too.
For sure.
Do recommend though.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
appreciate the nostalgia aspect as a Pisces, double Pisces, and you being the Pisces sun, so I get it.
Yeah, you get it. We're just
Yeah,
kind of watery in our feels, you know.
just maybe a little bit too much water, but
Li- yeah, a little bit.
yeah. Okay, and
Yeah.
then final question for our round or hot fire, whatever you want to call it, take.
Hot seat.
Hot
Put me
seat,
in the hot
yeah.
seat. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Who, if you had the chance to read for anyone who is living or dead, psychically read for, or even work with or practice Reiki on, who would it be and why?
Oh my gosh, I love that question. And this is going to sound like I'm kind of being a total geek or like something, but Hawayo Takata. So she's the one that brought Reiki to the West. So
Mm.
she was it's kind of a little bit of Reiki history. She was attuned to Reiki and she brought it to Hawaii and then she taught people in Hawaii. I think she had like 22 masters that have since spread it. So
Wow.
I would love to talk to her in person, honestly, and pick her brain because I can't even imagine like the amount of like strength and fortitude it would take to leave your home country with a healing art that you felt so strongly about and then teach people it. Like you're like the first. You know, I mean she wasn't the first in Japan, but in the West she likely was. I mean, that's, at least of the Reiki that I know and practice. So I would love to talk to her and kind of know what or have gotten taught by her, and then turn around, give her Reiki, like to what would she experience, what would it be like for her, and then vice versa. Sometimes I even kind of feel like this is getting, obviously we don't care about the woo woo on the show, but it's like I kind of feel like she sometimes is present in some of the sessions I do, kind of giving me guidance. So yeah, I feel like kind of a kinship with her. I was telling someone the other day about her, just Reiki geek, and she's like, of course she was a woman that like brought it to the West. Of course it was a woman that did that. So I'm like, yeah, she was great, I'm sure.
It,
The tough cookie, I bet.
yeah, it feels like that's a very well thought out answer. So you've considered this before, and I completely appreciate that.
Kind
But
of.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a really great pivot to just lean into the type of Reiki that you do, how you got into it, and why. Because you
Mm.
practice the OG of Reiki, is from like what I understand, and also it has origins related to Jesus Christ, is my understanding, right?
Yeah, actually, I didn't know that when I was first researching Holy Fire Reiki. I was originally attuned to Usui Reiki, traditional Reiki, which Holy Fire Reiki is. That's the system that it uses, symbols and all of that. But yeah, I found out kind of later that yeah, it is associated with Jesus, and yeah, it's a very powerful form of Reiki. It was first channeled by William Rand in 2014, so that's actually not that long ago, but it's believed to be kind of ancient, like, yeah, in Jesus's time, probably. But I mean, this is just kind of channeled information. So, yeah, I had gotten attuned to Reiki, like Usui Reiki, back in 2006, 2007, and kind of put it on the back burner for many years. And then through time, it's been a long journey, series of events, got to a few years ago, went through soul reading method, kind of really everything kind of came back online. And I was looking for master training, and I found a local teacher, Jose Leon. He was actually really great. He I went through master training with him and got attuned to Holy Fire Reiki, and it's practiced in the same way as Usui Reiki. It's taught the same way, so with the hand positions, and it's channeled just like Usui Reiki, but the frequency seems to be higher and finer, and it's quite transformational energy. The attunements work a little bit differently, and you don't have to be hands-on for those. That's kind of the difference. It's getting kind of into the nuts and bolts of Reiki training and attunement a little bit, but the energy is so it's gentle, but it's powerful and transformative for sure. Speaking for myself and then people I've worked with as well. Yeah.
So I'm going to pivot to Nichole after this question because it looks like she has one, or maybe not. If you're on YouTube, disregard. But I have this personal belief, and I would love to hear more, like from your perspective, being a Reiki master, because I have two of my placements, one of which I got with you, which was a great experience. It was right when you
Thank
had
you.
established your business. Yeah. And we'll link all of her information in the show notes, guys, so you can experience either a session with her or get attuned by her if you're interested. But um, I have this like personal experience and thought and belief that it's hard to receive Reiki, or maybe like it won't be maybe as much of an equal energetic exchange if you're of a higher vibration than the person who's sending you Reiki, and or if you're more healed than the person sending you Reiki. Do you have thoughts about that?
Oh, interesting. So
Mm-hmm.
you're saying that the person receiving Reiki is a higher vibration than the person giving it, or vice versa?
Yeah, so I've had some, this is not like to my own horn or like pat myself on the back or any which way, but like say I've
Mm-hmm.
been, doing the healing work in for almost 8 years now, right? And
Yeah.
someone who's recently gotten certified is that maybe the beginning of their journey, and maybe like
Oh.
1 to 2 years into the work.
Mm-hmm,
And they were to offer me, Reiki healing or some type of session.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would feel it the same if, say, maybe they had 10 years experience and
Oh,
the 8.
okay.
Do you have any
Mm-hmm.
thoughts or beliefs about that or experiences?
Oh, that's interesting. I feel like I don't even want to kind of have an opinion on that because I feel like it's Reiki kind of works. It has a higher intelligence, like
Mm-hmm.
than like it has its own intelligence, and I feel like if how do I put this? So if you feel like you're guided to get a session from someone, there's probably a reason. It's like, if you have a reading from someone, you kind of like vibe with their energy, right? Like there has to be kind of a mutual sort of interest. I I'm just kind of getting some information here. I think just trying to be kind of mindful of this answer. Yeah, there's probably something to that. Someone who's been in the work for a long time and has been working with the energy for a long time, it's possible that they may have cleared more blockages, more they have the ability to let the energy flow, maybe in a more substantial way. That's entirely possible. No way to really quantify that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's always going to be benefit from
Totally.
Reiki, regardless of the level that the person's at. Honestly, a person that just received their level 1 Reiki is channeling Reiki energy
Mm-hmm.
regardless. And it's going to be Reiki energy. It's going to be powerful. It's going to go where it needs to go to
Mm-hmm.
the person, and the person is going to receive what they need to receive from that energy. Not trying to disparage, maybe people that have been in the work for longer and have possibly done more practice. I think it is kind of like anything where you maybe have a natural talent for it, or maybe you get better at it with practice,
Yeah,
just
like
like
anything.
anything that we do.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to be like, oh, well, this person just got their Reiki 1, so therefore, they're not qualified to give Reiki. Like, it doesn't really work like that. It's not
Mm-hmm.
like a college course or anything where, now that I'm a Reiki master, like I'm a better Reiki practitioner than you. Like that's not how I see it at all. I
I
see like, yeah,
I love that feedback because
yeah,
it's maybe been like something that I've personally experienced, but also like I've had this conversation with girlfriends that have also, had interesting exchanges with others as well. So I love your perspective on that as a Reiki master. And I think I want to pivot to some of the benefits of receiving Reiki, because I've seen some like gnarly like healings of, say, like, you know, people having migraines and then you send them Reiki and then all of a sudden, you know, they feel better for like, you know, however long. But
Yeah.
I definitely think there's something to it.
Before you talk about that, can you just like give a basic overview of like what Reiki is? Because
Yeah.
I feel like I understand it, but I still don't after all these years.
Yeah.
So for all the other clueless people like me, what exactly is it? And then what are the benefits and all of that good stuff?
Yeah, for sure. Not clueless. I feel like um this even being on a podcast talking about it is kind of surreal. I feel like I've been kind of on the fringe for a long time, and I feel like most people in my life, they'll probably listen to this and be like, what the hell is she talking about? Like I don't talk about this that much to people in my life. It's been kind of a quiet thing. So not clueless. I'm always happy to kind of explain what I know, but yeah, so Reiki is kind of at its fundamental, it is universal sort of life force energy. So it's channeled from higher place, and the energy is channeled through a practitioner who's attuned to it. So so it comes from Japanese because that's where this originated. So the word Rei, like Reiki, so Rei means spiritual wisdom, and Ki is like chi, you know, or prana. It's like life energy. So it basically means like spiritually guided life force energy. And so what happens is that a person that's attuned to Reiki will be a conduit for the energy, and the energy is channeled through their body and into the palms of their hands. And then the person that is giving the Reiki will place their hands in a series of hand positions on the person's body. This is kind of the traditional way. Reiki practitioners are often sort of guided by their intuition as well. So you don't have to follow the exact hand positions in order to give a good Reiki session. A person may have, like, say, a broken arm or something where you may want to place your hands on the person's body in a certain spot to help, you know, let the energy flow there. But even in that case, the energy flows to where it's needed. So it flows through the practitioner to the person, and it goes to where it's needed because it's its own intelligent energy. You know, it kind of sounds like magic, but I've personally experienced its benefits, had plenty of feedback from people, and lots of practitioners kind of say the same. So
I have a question.
Yeah.
So with Reiki, it sounds, because you can do distance Reiki, and right, as long as your hands are in the right position, the person can still receive it. If you're doing Reiki in person, is it still just kind of the hand positions hovering over the person, or can they touch the person? Are there different forms of Reiki where they are touching? Because the reason I'm asking is a couple weeks ago, I went to a breathwork session here in town, and there was a woman there, and she said, you know, throughout the session, I might come and touch you guys, you know, on different parts of your body. And she came at one point and she touched my feet. I have never in my life felt whatever it was that I felt when she touched my feet. It was like electricity running up my feet and my legs. And I had wondered, like, is she Reiki attuned? Is this something completely different? Because she was touching me and I could feel a current, which was so fascinating to me. And I had wondered that, and I didn't get to ask her, you know, like how she did that, like witchery. It was so cool though. I want to go back just for her to touch me again. Like it was very interesting.
I love that. I would love to talk to her too. Yeah. Yeah, so your question about do you need to be touching or not, you don't have to. Some people don't want to be touched, and that's totally fine. If you're in person, as long as your hands are, you know, relatively close within, it treats the aura. So like the energy flows into the aura through the chakras as well. You can also treat folks like from across the room. It's a technique, I believe it's called beaming, where you can send Reiki across the room so you don't have to touch them. Say they're in the hospital and they've had like burns or something, like, you wouldn't want to physically touch the person. So you can do that. And with distant Reiki, like Reiki's not limited by space and time. So it's a lot of it is really intention, as kind of simplistic as that sounds. If you think about it, our minds are powerful, right? So like our intention actually means a lot. And if we channel that intention, just thinking about your practitioner, she doesn't necessarily have to be Reiki attuned. There's also many different forms of energy work. I just happen to be kind of specialized and interested in this one, but it could very well be that she's practicing something akin to Reiki or even Reiki. But yeah, it's a lot of it, like, we're all energy. We're all made of energy. I think this is a little bit ahead of maybe where our understanding of in terms of science, like they're doing testing and trying to figure it out, but I think we're getting there, but we may just be a little bit ahead. We're kind of just relying on faith and our experience to help each other heal and everything, right? I'm not sure if that answered your question, but
it was just because I had also wondered, because I don't know much about energy healing, so I had thought, well, maybe it's something completely different and it's not even Reiki, because I always thought maybe Reiki was not going hands-on. So I just wasn't sure. I just need to go and ask her how she did that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to know. Well, because you can send Reiki at a distance, like that's technically not hands-on, but the energy is being sent anyway. What a person who's sending Reiki at a distance usually does is they'll have a proxy, so like, a doll or a pillow or something like that, and then they'll intend that the energy is sent to that person using that. So I personally found that works. So
Gabby sent me Reiki once. I had a really pounding, crazy, like splitting head migraine, and she sent me Reiki, and I knew she was going to be sending it. I didn't know she was sending it in that moment, and I was laying down and I started seeing colors and like there was just crazy visuals happening for a while, and I was like, oh, I wonder if I'm getting Reiki right now. And then it kind of stopped, and then she texted me, okay, like I'm done.
Nice.
I was like, that was wild.
Yeah, that definitely happens. When I've sent distant Reiki to people, they often feel a warmth in their body. There's something about holy fire energy in particular that sometimes people even perceive it as a flame, hence the name, like holy fire energy, but they often feel a warmth in their body in various places. Sometimes like a cooling sensation, sometimes pressure, sometimes buzzing. I've given Reiki treatments to people who I've got my hands placed in one area of the body, and then they'll feel a tingling somewhere else, entirely different, which is like, it's so fascinating. And, obviously I'm very excited about it because it's just, it's a very cool modality. Yeah.
I feel like I know a lot of Reiki practitioners and a couple of masters, but I don't know anyone is as excited about it as you are. And I love that because you can just tell.
I'm just an enthusiastic person. Yeah. Like it's hard for me to kind of hide my feelings. Like if I don't like something, you'll know. If I like something, you'll know. Terrible liar. So
Can relate.
You know what you're getting with me. Yeah.
Pisces, Aquarius. There you go.
A little weird.
No, I'm actually admiring your card decks behind you. If you're on YouTube, check them out. I'm just like, yeah, I
got a few. Yeah. I'm using quite a lot of different decks these days, just doing kind of daily card pulls and practicing and stuff.
Definitely.
Yeah. I'm a really visual person, so it's kind of fun to see what comes up and see what that means. Learning, I'm but a baby at astrology, but even just kind of rolling dice and seeing kind of what combinations come up, and I don't think I'll ever get as good as you, Gabby, but it's pretty fun to do anyway.
Well, actually, now that you're saying about, and now I want to know your human design. I mean, I have your chart, but I'm like, I want to go look it up and see if you have outer vision cognition, because you said that you're a very visual person, which makes sense since you're a designer. But
yes.
Oh, excuse me.
I can, as we're talking, I might have a picture of it somewhere. I can look for it.
Yeah, that would be awesome. So I want to
keep talking.
Oh, wait, so what are the benefits?
I was just
going to
did
I miss that?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, sorry. No, we didn't talk about that. Yeah, okay. Get back on topic here. Yeah, there's many, but I've found, so for people just kind of getting to Reiki, they're like, oh, I don't know why would I do that? A lot of, one of the biggest benefits I find is just relaxation, stress relief. So many of us are stressed out nowadays, where our minds are racing. There's just a lot of things going on. So I found almost everybody, once they start receiving Reiki, feels much more relaxed. It's kind of more conducive to a meditative state. So, and even me as a practitioner giving Reiki, I almost find that I get sort of into a theta state where, I'm just kind of receiving, and it's very peaceful. So that's kind of like the general sort of best benefit. But of course, there's emotional kind of energetic clearing that happens. It's working on energetic level, so it's treating blockages. It's sort of like an unseen level, and so when those start to free and the energy in your body, like your chi starts to flow better, you'll start to see improvements in your physical body as well, just like any sort of body work. It's not just exclusive to Reiki. It's just one of many. It's a great complement to other forms of body work, right? Like, chiropractic work or massage or Chinese medicine. They're all kind of natural sort of complements. But I've also found with Reiki, increased like clarity, mental clarity. It often opens up your intuition. You're talking about, you kind of felt when you were receiving Reiki, you almost started to see colors and everything. That can definitely happen spontaneously. I mean, there's no way to kind of predict, but it's as a practitioner and someone who's received a lot of Reiki, I can attest to the fact that it has opened up my psychic and intuitive channels quite a bit as well. And even just for folks that are receiving it. And the classic one is for physical healing, pain relief, right? You're talking about migraines. That's a good what do you call it? Like reason to do it. And I know Reiki's used in hospitals quite a lot to help ease, say someone's had surgery, to kind of help speed their healing, even help them feel more relaxed before they have procedures done. That's something I'm interested in. I'd like to kind of do some volunteer work there in hospital someday, just doing that, because I'm just so into it. And I just feel like it's a stressful situation to be in a hospital, right? And so to have people there doing that sort of work, I think is really important. Yeah.
My friend Kelly's a nurse in Washington, and she is Reiki attuned. I know at least level 1. So maybe she needs to go into the patients' rooms and give them some Reiki. She did this really cool experiment a while back where she had 2 plants and she kept them in the same spot and she watered them the same way, and she gave one Reiki and then she didn't give Reiki to the other one just to see how they would grow, and the one that got Reiki actually did grow and bloom a lot better. So that was really cool when she shared that.
That's amazing. So cool. Yeah, it's like the power of love. It's positive energy. That was really cheesy.
It's true though.
Well, when you speak nicely to plants, or play them like positive music, they do respond to that.
Or like the water experiment too. I feel like
yes, the water experiment. Can you talk about that, Gabs, for people that don't know what it is? It's fascinating.
Oh God. I'm not going to get the details correctly, but pretty much it was done by this I'm like thinking back to this water filter that I have, because on the water filter that I purchased, on the box of it, it literally speaks to this osmosis experience where the way in which I think a doctor actually spoke into 2 vials of water, he spoke kindly to one and not so kind to the other. And the I guess the quality of said water glasses was very different after said period of time. And obviously, the one that was spoken into with love and positively looked a lot better than the other.
So that's a different experiment. The one that I saw a video on was they played different kinds of music. So they played like classical music, to some water, and then they looked at it under like a very high powered microscope. And then they played, for example, heavy metal music. And the water actually responded differently to each type of music. So the like classical music, for example, made these like beautiful symmetrical shapes and patterns. Like some of them look like snowflakes, or they were so beautiful. And then the music, the water that was exposed to like the darker kind of like heavy metal music was just like like disfigured, deformed, like it didn't look the same. And so it was really interesting. I saw that video at a training that I did.
Wow.
It's fascinating.
It kind of like sparks this thought in my brain about like, okay, so Earth is a water planet and humans are primarily like 95% water. So it really makes you wonder about just like, one, how you speak to yourself, how you take care and nourish yourself. But then I was also thinking about like the quality of water in like literally America. And I have this mutual friend in this space, and she's doing her parasite cleanse, and she was talking about how like she discovered that there's like parasites in our water, and so therefore she's gotten a filter. And I'm just like, why is everything like, can I Reiki my water at home? Will that make a difference? I hope it will.
I bet it does. That's something that I was taught to do. I never think to do that, which is really not great, but it's absolutely something you can do for sure. I have a Reiki grid with like crystals that I attune every day. I have intentions in it. So crystals are great for that. Anything organic, just like you're saying with the plants and everything. You can Reiki your space, Reiki.
Food.
Send Reiki to the, if you can do distant Reiki, you can send it to the future.
Oh, I love that. I haven't done that. But something I have been doing, or at least try to, and I remember like when I go out to eat, because I'm just so sensitive to like foods, because I have an open spleen in human design. And like oils, I'll Reiki my food in public, or at least set the intention.
Yeah.
Because I'm just that person, but I do notice a difference.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It does make a difference. It's intention.
Totally.
Yeah.
So just speaking to more just like the who, what, where, when, how, how often would you say one could or should get Reiki, and is it for anyone and everyone?
Reiki is for anyone. If you feel called to, if you're even curious, if you feel interested in it all, give it a try. It's gentle. It's non-invasive. It does no harm, basically. And of course, do it in conjunction with like medical care if you have medical issues, but it's not going to cause any harm. And I lost my train of thought. It's
for anyone and everyone.
It's for everyone and everyone. Yeah, and it's anyone can be attuned to Reiki also. Like it's not exclusive to people who have a special talent for it. There are plenty of people that get attuned to Reiki and they just use it for themselves, or they use it for their loved ones. You can give it to pets even. My cat, who I hope you haven't heard her meowing in the background, she actually likes it. And so there are times when I'm giving myself Reiki and she'll come up and start hollering at me and she'll want some. And so it's a little wild, but it's true. And so like if you're feeling at all called to have a session or get attuned to it yourself, there's a reason, and it is for everybody.
Something that I was thinking, and I don't know why I don't do this more often, because it's probably just I have so many other things, other open tabs in my brain, I should say. Like when I
do that.
have menstrual cramps or if one day when I do decide to become a mother, like Reikiing my child
Mm-hmm.
in my baby, in my belly, the baby in
Mm-hmm.
the belly. Like that sounds like a great idea. So,
Yeah. I was just reminded of my first Reiki teacher, Astrid Lee. She is the one who attuned me, and she had a young daughter at the time, and I got this kind of memory of her saying that she had attuned her daughter. I think, I hope I'm not misspeaking, but her daughter would do Reiki with her, and she would do kind of like Reiki on her, and it was just beautiful. Like it was just a very peaceful sort of thing. I think it's a really cool idea to have if obviously if your kid seems interested in it, right, to allow them to give that a try. So yeah,
I
it's
saw an
gentle.
Instagram reel once, and there was a parent, and their daughter was doing Reiki, like the daughter had learned, and she was little, probably, I don't
Wow.
know, under 10, under 8, even just tiny little thing.
Yeah. Yeah,
I would teach my son
absolutely.
to do it to me that way
Why
when I'm
not?
not feeling good. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
so comment and then question, and then I'm going to pivot to Nichole because I think that's all I have. But
Okay.
so let's go back to the comment. There's this popular podcaster, and I feel like her and her husband, I think her name's Lauren Bostic, but I saw a reel on Instagram where her baby was like, she was basically breech, and she went to go get Reiki, and she was able to deliver naturally as a result. So
Wow. Oh my
wild.
gosh. Well, Reiki supports your body's own natural ability to heal, to come back to balance, right? So,
Mhm.
um, I wouldn't doubt that there was some energetic support happening there. Of course, it's up to the person's body, like we don't control our heartbeat or anything like that. Like there's kind of a greater intelligence at work
Yeah.
with Reiki, but absolutely I could see it being a great support if you're in sort of in needing like, yeah, physical sort of support of any kind. Yeah.
Do you have to, and this is my final question, but do you have to
Hmm.
have the placements in order to properly administer Reiki? Because I did have, and I'm asking more just from like personal experience. I have, we have a family member who their parent was basically on they were about to transition, and she was trying to make said parent more comfortable prior to transition. And I knew she didn't have her Reiki placements, but she was like, I just like, gave him Reiki. And I was like, oh my gosh, wait. So like, does she need to have the placements, or do you think with the intention, like that energy was provided?
Oh, that's interesting. You mean like attuned to Reiki that they
Yeah.
weren't? Yeah. My understanding is that yes, you do need to be attuned to
Yeah.
Reiki to give what is considered Reiki or called Reiki. I don't see why we can't all access healing energy or with healing intentions. But my understanding is that Reiki is a specific kind of key, like a specific kind of energy that does require an attunement.
Mhm.
I don't make the rules, but it's just like my understanding of that. That these are such great questions. I have not thought about that because I guess I just kind of follow the rules. But I don't see why not. Like, I was actually, I think, talking to my hairdresser the other day. I was kind of telling her what I do, and she's like, "Yeah, I think it's all about intention." She said, "Like, my boyfriend was having trouble sleeping, or he had like something happen, like he had a nightmare, and she just kind of put her hands on him, and he kind of calmed down and went back to sleep." And it's like we do have the ability to work with each other and support each other, and there's probably a lot we don't know about our own ability to heal each other and to connect with each
Mhm.
other, right? It's just that's a loving gesture to want to help your person like transition, right? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's coming from a good place. So but yeah, in terms of like what I do, my understanding, yeah, it's attunements for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, it's a really great question. I'm hoping answering answering sufficiently. They're great.
So,
Yeah.
what could somebody expect in an in-person Reiki session versus a distance Reiki session?
Hmm. Yeah, in person, well, the energy is the same, but in person, the nice thing is that you can see what I'm doing a little more clearly. You can experience that that in-person interaction. Sometimes it's nice to just be with someone in a physical space. With the pandemic and everything, how we've become kind of disconnected. There's something really nice about that in-person work, and for me as a practitioner, it is a different experience. I feel like I'm kind of I don't see things like, oh, oh, look, there's a spot, I gotta like put my hand on it or whatever. It's more kind of like an intuitive knowing, but I feel guided to kind of move around the body in a certain way when I'm doing an in-person session. And then it's more of a present, sort of like being present with them. I'm present in a distant session as well, but to me, it's more of like a psychic connection because I can't actually be physically present with them. However, the energy is reaching them and is working the same way. It's just that I'm a very like visual person. I see things kind of in my mind's eye. So I kind of visualize. I'm sure it's different for every Reiki practitioner because everybody's different, but I kind of visualize their body. I am often guided to certain chakras in the body. I'll see different colors. I'll get a lot more visual sort of metaphors. It almost seems like my intuitive senses are heightened when I'm not in person with someone. In person, it's just, again, just as good, but it seems like the interaction's a little bit different. Where they're both good, but if you can't be with me in person, you will get a great session as well.
When you do your distance Reiki, are you doing it like, are they on camera? Like, for example, laying down and you can see them, and then that way you're kind of able to visually have them there? Or do you just kind of do it like, okay, this is our time and I'm going to send it and you're going to lay down? Like, you guys are just kind of trusting each other? Or how does that work?
Yeah, I love those questions. Yeah, it's all of the above. It's how the person wants to receive. Again, the energy works the same way. I've done it all different ways. I've done it where I actually sent the energy in advance at a time that we both agreed on. We weren't necessarily present with each other. I've done it live with people on not on the phone, on video chat, so we can be speaking as I'm doing it. That's actually really great if you've never had a Reiki session before. We can talk through anything that you're feeling. I always give a consultation before every session anyway, but especially if you're like, oh, I don't understand what's happening. Like, why am I feeling this weird like sensation in my head? That is another kind of benefit of being in person as well, but at a distance, that's also great. And yeah, I have also done it where I'm sending the energy at the same time as the person is consciously receiving it, but we're not on camera. So I'm kind of like, okay, I'm going to send it to you now, and then you can go lay down and just like make yourself comfortable. And that also works. Again, it's kind of more like personal preference for the person who's receiving it. Sometimes you're just like feeling crappy and you're just like, you know what, I just want to lay down and have a nap or something and receive it, and that's works just as well.
Yeah, I've had distance Reiki once from a practitioner I met in Soul Reading Method, and it was like, okay, go lay down, and then I'll text you again in 20-30 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
And it just felt really disconnected to me. Like, I did feel what was happening. I did feel kind of like the energy flowing, but
yeah,
I feel like for me, I mean, and it might be an age thing where I'm just so used to like, I want to be with somebody and I want to, all of that versus so much technology. Yeah. It has a time and its place and it's super helpful, but for things like that, there's a girl that I follow and she was in some courses that I did recently, and she does Kundalini. So I've seen her, she'll sometimes share her sessions and she has them on video, and she's doing whatever she's doing with Kundalini on the screen with, like on the person's body, which I think is so fascinating. And it's like, it makes me want to have a session. I still really don't know what Kundalini is, but I really want one after seeing all those sessions that she posts. So I wasn't sure how it works for Reiki.
Yeah. Again, like if you feel more comfortable being with us interacting and me sending it to you. Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to do that. I really like to talk to people anyway. I mean, can you tell? Everybody's different. There's always every session is different, even with the same person, because we're always it's like a continuum. It's not like we're ever the same. We're always different in every moment.
I love that. So where can people find you? Where can I book a session with you? Tell us all the things, as we like to say on the show.
Tell us all the things. Yes. Best place is my website. So www.fieldguide.love. So I keep all of that up to date with where you can book sessions with me. I'm also offering classes as well. So Reiki 1 and 2. And so those are kind of like case by case basis. I am offering those in person in Vancouver, BC, but I also do virtual classes as well. Some folks prefer the in-person experience. It doesn't matter if you can't be with me personally. Not everybody lives in Vancouver. We can do a class or a session virtually. Yeah. And I also have Instagram. So fieldguide.love. Both.
And it's
both the
field field of dreams, field guide. Okay.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure. I wasn't sure if I was hearing feel good or field.
Sorry. Yes.
Field
not
guide.
enunciating. Yes. Field of dreams. It's like field of corn, and then field energy field.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
got it.
Also, please check out her website, because her being the designer she is, I really appreciated it.
Oh, that's right. It's probably gorgeous.
I labored on those colors and fonts for way too long. I had a few iterations of that website. I'm embarrassed to say, because, bit of a perfectionist, but I finally got it out there. Yes.
It's your baby. So
it's my baby. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So we like to close out the show with a card pull. Would you be so kind as to do that for us and let us know which deck you're pulling from?
Yes. I'm obsessed with this deck lately. It's called Poesis. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's Poesis or Poesis. It's an oracle deck, so it's this. I feel like a salesperson for this deck. It's I always like telling people about it. So it's a pretty meaty deck. It's all abstract images, and so you just use your intuition. There's just one word on each card. So
that sounds like a lot of work. Like someone like me that's very logical and left-brained would really struggle with that.
I like the nebulousness of it. It's it's very, I guess, the Piscean, sort of dreamy, sort of visual things. So, okay. What card am I pulling here for the collective? Growth.
That's so pretty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, aren't we all on a path of growth? I mean, this kind of seems like an obvious card, doesn't it? It's like growth, spiritual journey. But yeah, it's this weird sort of artwork that looks pretty abstract. Is that a face on it? Yep.
Oh.
I don't know if you can see it. Yeah. It's just like the beginning of a journey. We're all blossoming and growing.
That's a cool deck. I really appreciate the colors too.
It's just black and white, actually.
Oh, it looks green.
It looks a little green.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's the color of my... Oh, yeah, I can kind of see it does look green, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Growth.
Cool. I was going to say, that's like so appropriate for field guide, because field.
Actually, yeah. It's not green, but it kind of feels like it is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Yeah, but that's kind of appropriate for me, my growth journey, and the journey that I hope to help others with. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
thank you for coming on and finally talking about Reiki.
I know.
Thank you for having me.
Phil he didn't really talk too much about Reiki, but he is Reiki attuned, right? He does practice Reiki, but he didn't really talk too much about it.
I feel like a lot of people
and
are.
Brett is also.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people are. Like Reiki
the boys
attuned.
are, yeah.
Yeah.
That other boy too.
Yeah.
Sorry, men. The men are. The Brianna's friend.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, Zach. Shout out Zach.
The men are. talking to Reiki. Interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. Reiki is often like a great complement to the other work that people are doing. You don't have to be like me, like you kind of a master and a teacher and everything. It's just that's where my path happens to be. But you can certainly, like I said, just be attuned to it and just use it for yourself and your loved ones. And it's a great energy to kind of have on your side in your journey.
I definitely think it heightens the other clairs for sure. And I'm just very happy that we finally got the chance to talk, because I know I shared this with you, but I don't know if I shared this with Nichole, but like you had been in the back of my mind for so long to come on the show to talk about this specific topic.
Yeah.
Because you are very excited about it. You can tell, and it shows. So thank you again. And we're super excited for our spiritual Barbies and Kens to connect with you. And we'll be sure to link all of those in the show notes.
Amazing. Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's been great talking to you.
Yeah. Do you want to say bye with us?
Say bye?
Yeah. Let me say that annoying bye at the end of every show.
It's not annoying. It's iconic.
How do you say it?
Oh,
bye.
Oh,
like
bye.
Do we do it in unison? I mean, Nichole edits it.
Yeah,
so
sure.
It sounds like we are.
Let's do it.
Okay.
All right. 1, 2, 3. Bye.